Okay, so you're driving down the road one day when all of a sudden you see it. A Tyrannosaurus Rex crossing the highway, heading toward the nearest Burger King. You pull over, roll down your window and let it pass. Just another Tuesday in the life of a millennial, right? Well, not exactly. If the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs never hit Earth, our planet would look and function very differently. So what if dinosaurs never went extinct? Let's imagine how things might have played out. First off, cities would need to be built very differently. Skyscrapers would probably be out of the question considering that some dinosaurs were well over 20 stories tall. And you wouldn't want to get crushed by a falling dino dropping its food on the way down from its nest. Roads would also need to accommodate giant creatures. Just imagine traffic jams caused by herds of sauropods blocking the highway. It would be every driver's worst nightmare. And speaking of getting places, humans might have invented a different mode of transportation than cars, with the invention of the automobile being relatively recent in Earth's history. Maybe we would have developed a different means of getting around, especially since there's this mode of transportation that's been around for millions of years, a much more efficient and effective mode of transit: dinosaurs. Maybe instead of owning cars, people would own pet dinosaurs, kind of like having a horse, except a lot more dangerous and destructive. Of course, not everyone could own a dinosaur, which would lead to a serious inequality issue, but that is a problem for future historians to figure out. Because clearly, the biggest problem in this timeline is predators. Because let's face it, the world would be a very scary place. If T-Rex and friends were still around, just trying to leave your house would be a gamble. You might make it to work without getting stomped on, but then you'd have to deal with giant carnivores hunting in packs. Forget about vacations. Even if you made it to the age of 40 without being clawed or bitten, there is no telling what kind of genetic mutations might occur from living in such a high-stress environment. But assuming you do manage to survive to an old age, you can rest easy knowing that the crops you'll be eating won't contain any pesky pesticides. That is, because farming, as we know it, would unexist in a world where dinosaurs are still around. In fact, the entire food chain would look totally different. Herbivorous dinosaurs would compete with other plant-eating animals for food. And since they were generally larger, meaner, and had sharper teeth, dinosaurs would probably win that competition. This would force mammals to either find a new food source or starve. And humans, well, we fall somewhere in the middle. We're not big enough to challenge the herbivores, but we're smart enough to fight back against the carnivores. Although that doesn't mean we'd come out on top. Mammals began to evolve during the late Cretaceous period, right before the mass extinction event that wiped out the dinosaurs. Some scientists speculate that the extinction of the dinosaurs allowed mammals to flourish and eventually gave rise to the mammalian revolution. So if the dinosaurs were still around, the evolution of mammals, including humans, could have been significantly slowed or altered. The entire ecosystem would be structured around these massive reptiles rather than us. And that's not just speculation. There's evidence that large dinosaurs and small mammals coexisted in the same ecosystems, with the dinosaurs dominating. If this pattern continued, it's likely that many of the world's resources would be controlled by the largest dinosaurs, kind of like how bigger birds tend to dominate a flock. Of course, we can't forget about the role that smaller dinosaurs would play in society. Take the Velociraptor, for example. Because of their intelligence, dexterity, and pack-hunting behavior, they could pose a real threat to humans. They might have even been domesticated at some point, becoming partners, threats, or even sacred beings. And who knows, maybe we would have developed psychic abilities to communicate with them. After all, some scientists believe that the extinction of the dinosaurs led to a diversification of life on Earth, forcing species to adapt and evolve in new ways. But ultimately, the extinction of the dinosaurs may have given rise to humanity's greatest advancements in science and medicine. Let's face it, surviving a life-or-death struggle against giant beasts would probably force humans to develop some pretty advanced technology. But in the end, would humans thrive in a world full of dinosaurs? Or would dinosaurs still rule the Earth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Speaking of humans ruling the Earth, now check out Why Do We Get Goose? Or watch this video instead.